When you think about relationship between economy and philosophy in ancient Greek society, we have to understand that there are a lot of point of view about this topic. In particular, we have to consider, or we can consider, for example, Plato, but also Xenophon. In fact, these two philosophers has a different point of view about what is economy and what is philosophy, or better, what is the relationship between economy and philosophy. In particular, Plato said that philosophy is only a dialogue between people, in particular, a dialogue that, in particular, create a relationship between people, and with this dialogue, we understand what is true and what is wrong. But not only this, obviously, but in Plato there is a theory of knowledge, and this theory of knowledge sometimes criticizes the idea of the rich. Of I think I have something in relation with my property. In fact, in the Republic, for example, Plato criticized the private property. In fact, uh, in his dialogues, in particular in the Phaedrus, uh, Socrates uh, don't want to stay out of the city, but in particular, he wants to stay inside of the city. This is really interesting. In fact, his friend Phaedrus went outside of the city, and Socrates followed him, and these two men had a debate, had a discourse, create a relationship. And Socrates said to Phaedro, I prefer speak with people into the polis, not outside, into the polis. This is really important. In fact, outside the polis, what is it outside the polis? The land where there are people that produce something. And for example, the main structure of the city states in ancient Greek society, it is there is the polis, the top part, and the under part, and outside there were the lands where there were some citizens, and also slaves that produce something. And this is really interesting. In fact, uh, we understand that Plato didn't consider what is outside the city, but is in the area of a polis, but is not important according to Plato. Plato didn't consider this, what is outside the city, but into the area of the polis, important. Or better, essential in the philosophy. Essential for the polis, but not for philosophy. In fact, in the Republic, Plato talk about the workers that produce something, but are not important for philosophy, or are not so important for the philosophy, for a really contribute of philosophy. Instead, another point of view, it is the point of view of Xenophon. Xenophon instead criticized indirectly Plato, because Xenophon asserted that, okay, but if I would like a philosopher, I have to consider what is what are my possibilities, and how can I consider how are my possibilities with produce something. And if if I don't have a knowledge, if I don't know how to produce, what can I, what philosopher am I? I don't know. I'm not a philosopher. If I cannot produce something, if I cannot support me with some produced. In fact, Xenophon in the Economicus asserted that, explained that economy and philosophy are in relationship. In particular, what is outside the city, the campaign, the land, is important because with this produced, the polis supported himself. And this is really important because according to Xenophon, yeah, we can speak about philosophy as a theoretical part, but in particular, we can speak about philosophy when we understand that there are also some physical part needs that we have. And this is really interesting. In fact, in his Economicus, the Socrates of Xenophon is really different from the Socrates of Plato. If the Socrates of Plato supported a theory of knowledge and the debate into the city, the Socrates of Xenophon supported the knowledge and the debate also, and in particular, outside the city. And if Plato criticized what is outside, criticized or he don't consider really important what is outside the city, or better, outside the walls of a city, uh, the Socrates of Xenophon, considered important what is outside the walls of a city. This is interesting. And the Socrates of Xenophon, according to the economy of the ancient Greek, we have to remember the economy in the ancient Greek society is that the land outside the city, the agriculture, the produce from the agriculture, and the cure of the house. And a second part of economy, it was the exchange. But is not the main type of economy in the thought of the ancient Greek society. But also Xenophon, for example, explained that if I produce something with agriculture and exchange this with my activity, I uh, I'm doing also economy, and also I I can be richer with this activity, and if I do this, I will be rich. This is really important. In fact, according to Xenophon, and not to Plato, the economy in relationship with agriculture would create a better relationship between philosophy, knowledge, uh, who is that produce something, and also a relation with what is what are my possibilities in relation also with slaves. Remember, in the ancient Greek society, there were slaves. If I have a territory, I have slaves, and I can create a relation with these slaves. I can have this agriculture. I can produce something, and I can exchange with my produced, with my work, with my slaves. And also, if I produce something, and if I buy something or much more with my product of work, I will be richer. And it was supported by Xenophon. Instead, Plato sometimes criticized this type of point of view. In fact, if the philosophers in Xenophon had to have to comprehend how he can be richer, in Plato, in particular in the Republic, the philosopher couldn't have and cannot have private property. Are two points of view really different. Bye.